Hearts and HOA Forms. A tale of charm, rivalry, and the quiet joy of being left alone. As told by Carl, HOA Vice President. When people picture retirement communities, they imagine calm, birdsong, bingo, perhaps the distant hum of a golf cart and someone named Beverly watering begonias. But if you drop yourself into Chamomile Hills expecting peace, you'll find Brenda arguing about mailbox alignment and Harold trying to build a pergola without a permit. And for a brief but unforgettable period, you'd have seen two very determined women, Dolores and Rita, engaged in a battle of charm, casseroles, and low-key manipulation. And the target of that campaign? Me. I'm Carl, HOA Vice President, enthusiastic about order, mildly allergic to chaos, and deeply suspicious of anything described as festive. I like quiet mornings, neat lawns, and the deep satisfaction of a properly filed variance request. So naturally, I had no idea what to do when I became the prize in what residents later called, somewhat dramatically, the courtship Cold War. It began innocently, too innocently, in hindsight. Dolores and Rita had been frenemies since the spring plant swap of 2018, when Dolores accused Rita of mislabeling a set of petunias as low maintenance. They were not. They were, in fact, divas. Over the years, they argued about everything: centerpiece placement at HOA banquets, whose lemon bars were too forward, and once, whether a driveway wreath in February constituted a desperate cry for relevance. Then came the lull. No new events, no conflicts. No one even painted their door a controversial taupe. The HOA ran like clockwork, and that's when they turned on me. It started small. Dolores began attending more meetings. She brought coffee, black, no sugar, just how I like it. I remembered, she said with a wink. Then Rita showed up to the next meeting with a thermos of French press, a side of biscotti, and a binder labeled Notes for Carl. She patted my shoulder, twice. I assumed it was a caffeine-fueled coincidence. It was not. The following week, Dolores invited me to her casual patio brunch, which was anything but casual. Doilies were involved. Also an unsolicited performance of Moon River on the ukulele by her great-nephew. The week after that, Rita offered me a private tour of her renovated shed, which somehow involved a cheese board and scented candles. Brenda noticed first. "They're courting you," she said, crossing her arms like a disappointed nun. "Courting?" I repeated, choking slightly on Dolores's homemade scone. "Isn't that a bit obvious? Yes. Poorly planned? Also yes." I tried to ignore it. I genuinely liked both of them. Smart, opinionated, terrifying in committee, but I had zero romantic interest in anyone. I haven't dated since the Bush administration, the first one. But the gestures escalated. Dolores gifted me a limited edition HOA handbook replica. Rita gave me a handmade World's Most Reasonable Man mug. Both began calling me dear in meetings. Harold started calling me Romeo, which he found hilarious. I tried to redirect the energy. "Let's focus on the quarterly landscaping report," I'd say. "Of course, Carl, but what do you think about roses versus peonies, personally?" I bet Carl appreciates a tidy rose bush, just like he keeps his garage, immaculate. They even started complimenting each other, sarcastically, of course. "Rita, your blouse is exuberant, very you. Dolores, your hair's looking quite sculptural today." I was trapped. If I praised one, the other sulked. If I said nothing, both raised their eyebrows in disappointment. It was like hosting a very tense tea party where everyone secretly had a dagger under the napkin. And then it got worse. They started competing in public. At the July HOA cookout, Dolores made her famous deviled eggs, each with a little paprika heart. Rita arrived late with a lasagna shaped like the Chamomile Hills logo. "You brought paperwork," Harold whispered to me. "They brought art. You are doomed." The final straw came during movie night at the rec center. I had just settled into my usual seat, back row, left side, optimal fan access, when both Dolores and Rita appeared. "Saved you a seat," they said in unison, on opposite ends of the row. They stared at each other. I stared at the screen. It was the notebook. Of course it was. I excused myself 10 minutes in and pretended to get a phone call from the regional bylaws office. The next day, I made a decision. I would tell them, gently, kindly, diplomatically, that I was flattered, but not interested. Only I didn't get the chance. Because love, as it turns out, has a wicked sense of timing. It began with yoga. Rita joined a senior yoga group led by Dennis, a recent widower with a shock of white hair, calf muscles like marble, and a collection of tank tops that defied the HOA dress code. He was charming, calm, and unbothered by Rita's strong opinions on core strength. 2 classes in, she started bringing him biscotti. Meanwhile, Dolores signed up for the new watercolor class hosted by George, a retired architect with kind eyes and a surprising laugh. He complimented her shading technique. She invited him to a patio brunch. Doilies returned. By the next HOA meeting, the war had ended. Dolores sat beside George, holding his hand. Rita walked in late with Dennis, both glowing and inexplicably wearing matching yoga bracelets. I was free. Utterly, gloriously free. They still bring food to meetings, but now it's for everyone, and they direct their competitive spirit toward community improvement projects. The dog park renovation was the result of a friendly grant-writing challenge. Harold asked me if I was heartbroken. Relieved, I said. Profoundly relieved. I bet you missed the attention, he teased. I bet you missed not getting banned from the pergola committee, he conceded. And me? I still enjoy my coffee black, my garage orderly, and my life delightfully simple. The HOA still has its share of chaos. Brenda's starting a campaign against solar-powered flamingos. But for now, the air is calm. Rita and Dolores waved to me from their respective porches, occasionally giving me a knowing smile. They both ended up happy. So did I, and not a single ukulele has been heard since. Amen. Hi there. I have a goal to reach 100 subscribers by the end of August. Would you please help me achieve it? Please press the subscribe button. That's all you have to do. Thanks.